Hello everybody, Thomas Fleming. I am out in the afternoon just because I can be. The weather is really nice right now and we've had so much rain lately that I decided to go ahead and get out and take advantage of it. We have a storm coming in. It's going to be a noisy one. So I'm here to do this. Get the videos out for a couple of days here. With the weather being nice, it's hard to believe that there's craziness going on in the world. And it's hard to believe that people are starting to wake up. That's the good part. There's a revival group going on in Kentucky. If it begins to spread, they're going to try to figure out a way to shut it down. But the good news, and I've said this in the past many times, if we make it look like the devil's losing ground, he may move his calendar up. Like I've said, it's in his court. Revelation 12 says that it's in his court. We have the birth pangs that go with the mother and child in Revelation 12. She's going to be giving birth here soon. I don't know if I want to walk to the left. There's people over there, so I'm going to go this way. I see an empty bench. It's not a it's not a swinging bench, but it is a bench. So, be excited about this revival get-together. And speaking of revivals, one guy that was involved in a really big revival in the 70s, Chuck Smith, who I've seen in person, and he used to have concerts on Saturday, which were great Christian concerts. They're doing a movie about him, played by Kelsey Grammer. He's a nice guy. I've been in a film with him. Got to talk to him a little bit. So they picked a good person for it. If you follow Greg Laurie, he's covering that. I think they may have even brought him in to consult, because he is a mentor of Chuck Smith. He always seemed to have a smile on his face. That's the key. You can't take the gospel to somebody if you're going to be sad-faced. All right, let's see if I can sit down here. I have been to this campsite before. I'm beginning to repeat because I'm going to the better sites that I like. But again, I'm going to not mention where I'm at right now. It's not good to have everybody know where I'm at. I'm in the process of working out the details to get over onto Rumble. If you guys, I watch videos on it, and I'm trying to learn it. It's not the same as YouTube. It serves the same purpose. Telegram is more of a, Twitter. But it's got limited size of videos. I can put up small videos, but not big ones. I can put up 1 to 3 minutes, something like that. I've got to work out the details of how I'm going to be able to do this with limited bandwidth. I've got limited bandwidth here, and I've got limited bandwidth in my last park. The next one I'm going to, I've got full bandwidth. But there's no rhyme or reason in my pattern of going to a park. I don't go to a park based on whether or not it has good bandwidth. I'm going to the park for something and to enjoy getting outdoors. So I'm still toying with Starlink. It's an expense I don't want to put out if I don't have to. Okay, I've got people coming up, so I'm going to go ahead and pause this and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I am in public parks, so if the parks are busy, I have to watch that I don't get in somebody else in this, not without knowing who they are and having the right legal paperwork. And I don't carry that with me normally. Because most of the time, especially in the winter, I'm by myself. But the weather is so nice. We've had a few days like that, so it's so nice that I can sit out here. My shirt is open, sleeves rolled up. And I have this lake here. It's got a sandy beach. And there are some kids here. Let's see if I can get this stable. There. Okay, so if we can get this revival to spread, watch it, see what they're doing. They're singing songs. Come on, you musicians, it's up to you. That's what led the revival back in the 70s. We had the birth of Maranatha music and all these great singers back then. The music's still online, and I listen to it occasionally. It's kind of folk songy type music. It's not hard rock, although they did have some rock bands back then. And they're still around, just like, I had to put a picture up I saw. They were saying something like on the picture, the handicapped old person entrance is in the front. You should go up there. And the guys came back to him and said, no, but this is our entrance. We're the band. So they're all getting old. We lost Raquel Welch, who was a sex symbol. All this stuff started in the 60s, and we've been going downhill ever since. TV became a good medium for them to get their messages out. I'm just looking around, make sure nobody sneaks up behind me. Somebody did that on one of my hikes recently. They walked up behind me, and they had a dog, and the dog was quiet. Amazing. Most dogs aren't. And the canine wild version of the coyotes, they didn't come around last night for the first night in like 4 nights, so I'm grateful to that. They make too much noise. They're like screaming kids running around. The wind is blowing. It is blowing a storm in. And it's coming from the west. And it dipped down to get there, so that means that we're going to have cold weather when it goes. I've ordered some, I guess, business cards. Everybody wants to know how to find my page. I'm trying to normalize it. On YouTube, I used to have endtimes_Fleming, and I've changed that now to my standard MyTravelswithGod name that I've got on all my other channels on Telegram and Rumble. So it's on there too. It's still the End Times, but when you look it up, you don't have to type in the full title. You just type in My Travels with God, and you get there. There's some other stuff that it tries to piece and find, but I'm not looking forward to when they start putting more and more AI out there. The AI might be smart enough to realize what I'm saying. But I'm shooting for March to try to be if not off of YouTube, at least as a second to Rumble. I want something around when I'm gone. I don't think they would keep my channel up. I'm small fries compared to some of the big guys that are out there who are professional pastors who've been doing this for 50 years. My channel is less than 2 years old, so I don't expect to compete with them at that level. And it still grows a little bit, but I can tell when they've reset the filters, when they reset the hashtags. I get 20 or 30, maybe 50 new subscribers, which is great, and then it locks back down again when they get it reset. This channel, as in any channel, should be growing and not stagnant, and it's stagnant because they're putting filters on. If I did a video on camping, or if I did a video on anything else other than God, it would be growing, because I'm looking at some that I started following when they were small, and now they're really big. So the world doesn't want our message out. That is why you've got to get the message out. You've got to be free to just talk to anybody. Doesn't matter who they are. Say hi. Start the conversation. I'm out in the country when I'm driving along. This is tradition to anybody who lives in the country. You wave at everybody that goes by. It doesn't matter whether you know them. It's common country courtesy. Or since I'm in Georgia, it's Georgia hospitality. You wave at everybody. You're friendly. We don't have the problems that they do in the big cities. And we have issues, but we don't have the same kind of issues that you're going to have in the city. And the thing is, if you told your neighbor that your cow's sick, they'll come right over and see what they can do to help. Did you see where I don't know if I mentioned this already, some areas where the chickens were not eating and they talked to their other farmer friends and they all said, yeah, we're finding the same problem. What kind of chicken feed are you giving them? Purina. They all checked in on it. They were all feeding them Purina and they weren't eating. Somebody went out and switched the chicken feed to another name, and they were all back eating again. This evil world just won't stop. They want us to starve to death. They want the population cut, not in small increments. They want 80 to 90% of us gone. They only want enough people to serve them and turn the whole world into their paradise. With everybody gone, all that will be left will be servants. There won't be any education for science. There won't be anything else going on. Or if there is, it's only for the elites. They want a world full of servants to wait on them. And Satan will be glad to have that many people gone. I think we got to take a whole bunch of people out right now. You listening, Lord? I know, we got work to do. We got to get every last one. So pray for these revivals when you see them. And try to figure out how to be a part of it. Music is it. I mean, people love to sing. They love to, religiously dance, jump around, whatever, be excited, feel good. Music can do that. And it did for us during the 70s with Chuck Smith and this movie. Now, the movie, I think, is coming out next month. It's real close. I can't remember the name of it. Something like the Jesus Movement or something. Jesus is in the name. And Kelsey Grammer, in an interview, said that he was glad to be able to do this, to give back. because he's had a very good life. So you want to watch that movie when it comes out. You also want to watch Before the Wrath. And then Kevin Sorbo's just has got a new movie out too, and I forget his movie. You got to look on Google and find all this stuff. There's good content out there, intermixed in between the garbage coming out of Hollywood. I've been debating, and I've already made up my mind, but we have the Atlantic Comic Con is coming up in a week. And I'd love to go to it because I know some people that are in it that are the guests. I can't justify the money. It's not, they've got a bunch of Lord of the Ring hobbits, including Sean Astin, who I personally know, and he's a nice guy. So don't, not every actor is into the Hollywood slut, smut, and whatever else they can produce that Satan was happy with. There are good actors. A lot of them have to keep their mouth shut if they want to work. That's the only bad thing about it. And I know Sean and I don't know, I haven't actually met his father, but his father is John Astin of the Addams family and other things. He's a lifelong Democrat, but of the old style Democrat. Not this new garbage that they call Democrats. They're just Democrats in name only, because really they're socialist, communist, fascist, everything else, every bad type of thing you can think of, because it's Satan's group moving in. It's the harlot and her influence in the world. I was listening to Tom Hughes talking to somebody, and it sounds like we're going to get real close to seeing nukes released. Don't worry, God will protect us. But we know that there's some areas that it talks about in prophecy that they will be completely destroyed and uninhabitable. Well, the only thing I can think of is either a biological weapon, but that will dissipate over time a lot faster than a nuclear one will. And Damascus is one of them. During this earthquake, Iran moved all kinds of arms and stuff through Syria. They just loaded up everything they could and sent them that way as fast as they could as, quote, relief effort. But of course they're not. But they use that as an excuse. There's going to be, and they're escalating terror attacks in Jerusalem. And Hamas just said that we're ready to launch thousands of missiles a day at you. We're just waiting for the word. Iran, they're working and enriching to make their nukes. And they said they're going to use them as soon as they got them. That means Israel's going to attack Iran. And when they do, the proxies will get involved. And there will be some damage in Jerusalem. But you push a lion or a bear into a corner, they will retaliate. So I would think Israel might be the first one to use a nuke, not Russia. And they could hit every major city of all the countries that hate them right now with a nuke. So if they put down one, maybe two nukes, all the other countries will go, oops, maybe we pushed them too far. Yep, think so. Then enter the Antichrist to make peace. That's a good scenario. So, if you hear about nukes, yesterday was my normal, every Wednesday I have to sit there and listen for a second to make sure that the world's still out there, because they test their emergency broadcasting horns and sirens and all the other stuff. All these parks have them. And I had to listen, make sure that they said test. Then it was okay. There's some kids back there, but they're going up above. The innocence of kids running around. We all need to have that. In spite of what we know, you need to have that innocence because they run around carefree. They're not worried about whether rent's going to get paid. They really don't even need, if you don't let them watch TV 24/7, they don't need new toys. You give a kid a box or a pan and a spoon, and even go outside and play with a stick. Go dig in the sandbox. Keep the lid on it if you have cats. Everything is just peaceful and calm right now. That would be where I would wait for something to happen. Satan always attacks when you least expect it. And we're talking about him attacking, so he's probably got something working right now. I'm surprised that Netanyahu hasn't gone in and attacked Iran. He said he was going to. He's getting a little pushback from some of the other groups over there. They have the same problem that we have. Satan's involved in government over there too. That was the group that was in there before him. And they signed agreements that would be Satan agreements. Netanyahu needs to tear up those agreements. He's probably surveying things. He's probably trying to buy more ammunition. We're sending everything over there to the Ukraine and any place else that says they want arms. We're depleting our stores. We won't be able to fight our way out of a paper bag. That's the good news. The government won't be able to challenge all the rednecks here in the United States because they can't figure out how to take our guns away. Now, that's not the answer, but I'm looking at it from their point of view. They can't have it both ways. They can't give away our arms so we can't fight a war, yet be armed. Oh, but wait. Remember, they bought all kinds of ammunition for the IRS. And they give them powers to attack. They've equipped the IRS to become an army. So that's right, they did think about the other way. Okay, well that's how they're going to do it. They give away our military so we can't fight against other countries, but they're arming the government agencies that they control, that you don't need a presidential order on, or you don't need a war declaration to use. Just send them out there. They're the police, the brown shirts. Yeah, now I see what they're doing. We won't have to put up with it, don't worry. Ah, there's my ducks. I was wondering where they went to. There's 3 ducks over on the edge of the water. It's a mallard and 2 hens. This is February. This is too early for the animals to get springtimey. Well, maybe they know something more than we do as far as the weather. Did you see where there was a video before the earthquake? I don't know if it was the one in Japan or the one in Turkey. I didn't read the story. But there was like 4 or 5, 6 cats in the room, whatever it was. And just before the earthquake hit, they went crazy. Started running all over the place, jumping over things. And then the earthquake hit. Animals have a better connection to God than most humans. We're going to fix that soon, but we're not quite there. All right. I didn't really have this is the second one in a row that I really haven't had a theme to talk about. It's just nice to just get together with friends and talk. clouds are cool looking. You can kind of see them. They're moving, and there's two layers of clouds. It's the lower layer, the one that's coming here, coming from the west. There's a big storm going up the middle right now, but it's not. It's just starting to enter Alabama. It's not over here to Georgia yet, but we're going to get it either tonight or tomorrow. So that's kind of why I wanted to get started on this, so we could have a video that I could polish off and then not have to get out in the rain. That's the only downside about the tent, or it'd be the same thing with an RV or an apartment, is being cooped up inside all day where you can't get out. Because I love getting out. You see, most people are worried about taking God up on his offer. But he knows I love being outside. So he gave me a job outside. People worry about me and say, "Don't you want to be in a house?" No, I don't. I might go into a house for a couple of days, maybe. But I don't want to permanently be there. I like doing what I'm doing. My only, not regrets, but things that I have to deal with is how do I deal with keeping these videos posted and getting them out there. Well, I've got my business cards coming. They'll be in next week, I think, sometime. I don't have my phone number on them. I just have all my pages on them. My YouTube page and Telegram, Rumble, and my email, which is also My Travels with God. That was my original thought and plan for all this, is I was going to get set up and just travel around the country and make videos and talk about the parks and talk about God. And God said, well, that's the general idea, but talk about me more. So that's what I'm doing. He won't give you something to do that you don't like to do. Now, initially I didn't want to do this because I didn't think I could talk this much. But he's given me the ability to ramble on. Now when I'm teaching, I pray before I teach that he will use my voice to get his message out, whatever that message is. I need to get one of those light wings that goes around the phone, or the clips on the top. They have those. My poor little selfie stick wouldn't handle it, though. I have to really decide if I want to use. Well, I have a tripod that has an adapter for the phone. I might have to start using it. Next week, when I get back where I can get into my storage unit, I'm going to look into getting that. My son, last time I talked to him, he's going to try to come back next month in March. He can't get his time extended any longer, so he has to come back. But he's going to keep working. What he's going to do is get some material together here, and he can ship it over there before he goes back. It's not real easy over there. You can't find anything in a third world country. So he can come back here. You can order with Amazon, and he needs some more teaching aids and books and things so he can teach him English better than what he's doing. He's only got one book, and they have to work off of paper. And we haven't put in for a fundraiser for that yet because he's got his general one. That's so he can live over there. It takes very little. I think the money exchange is like 4 to 1. One of our dollars to 4 of theirs. Get out of here, bug. So he said he can live on like $40 a week. That's pretty good. That way you can focus the rest of the time. But there's people over there. They started a food bank to get that going. So we've been contributing to that, and I contribute to it too as well. So you can find his link down below. If you contribute to him, GoFundMe takes a fee out. If I contribute to him, I go right straight into his bank account with no transfer fees. I set that up before he left. I made sure that we both had the same bank. And that way we can send funds back and forth. So if you have extra, if you feel you get your tax return back, I got my state return back. I haven't got my Fed yet. But I'm supposed to have it, I think they said this month. Maybe the 24th or something. I get a little bit back. God takes care of me. All right. That's all I think I have to say on this. It was another fun chat from my new location. And it's just pretty out here. Relatively quiet. And I'm sitting there looking at this big lake. I had the river at the old site. Here I have a lake. In the summertime they have boats. I might look at getting a boat in the summertime. When my son gets back and we're traveling, I might be able to do that. All right. Let me wrap this up. I haven't seen any critters yet, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do any critter cams at the end, but I'll keep my eye out. We still got birds. I've heard some ravens. I see some flying. I know there's armadillos here, but they're not as overgrown as they are at the last park. And I'm sure there's deer here, but again, this is kind of a city park. It's a county park, is what it is, but it's near the city. So it's less likely to have critters running around. But I'll get out and look. All right, so keep working, keep busy, keep your lamps full. When the things start rolling, God does not have to wait for anybody. The buck stops with him. When he says go, it's going to go fast. The seals, the trumpets are going to go fast. The warring is going to go fast. Antichrist is going to go fast. It's over 7 years, but it's like not all of that's going to be used. The second part will have to be cut short or there won't be anybody left alive. But there's 3 raptures. I know people want me to talk about it, but every time I do, somebody wants to argue about it, and I don't like to get into arguments. Just believe me, there's 3. Beginning, middle, and end. And we only have to really worry about the first one. Okay, so until we meet in the clouds, God bless.